So what are we into here?
Cool. Hacked them off. Yeah, using non-stainless.
Oh, it's not stainless?
Washers. Yeah, surprise.
Use whatever was in his hardware cabinet, huh?
Whatever you got laying around.
Whatever you got.
No, that's not fitting because he took a grinder to it.
You need some soft, soothing tunes to calm you down.
I don't think so.
The road. Yeah, you need some gauges to calm you down. Alright guys, we can't actually afford the Bee Gees, so let's find some cheaper subscription-based royalty-free music that someone will still likely complain about. Welcome to Starcraft Jet Streak Episode 4, where we fit a new transom for our proper power plant on this boat. If you want to hear us gripe for half an hour about this transom setup and why we're redoing it, go back and watch Episode 2. Starting out today's special episode, however, fabrication and fitment of a new transom obviously requires some delicate removal of the one currently installed. Why would you wedge something in here that tight? For what reason? They literally assembled this in a manner where you cannot take it apart. Will the front one slide separate from this? Are they glued together? Do you like glue these together? Dude, there's no reason to do that. There's no reason. This sucks.
Why?
What's this one hitting on, bitch?
Probably another f***ing screw in it or something.
Oh.
Yeah? Was that one in it?
Yeah.
God.
Holy shit.
God.
Wow. Well, don't break it. We need to use it as a template. This was just the 30 horse, right? 35 horse. I mean, you can see how bowed that is. That's how much force it put on it. And it's because, I mean, essentially, right, it just formed. It wasn't just because it was wet and rotting. This was what, 4 inches above any support on the boat? So it was just flexing this whole thing out. Glad we made it work for the motor that we had sitting in our garage, the long shaft that we just had sitting around, right?
Use the motor you got.
Glad we made it work, so. Well, there goes our whole afternoon. So there we are. So after the old transom was out, we cut off the extra height to make it match original spec, cut a new one and coated it with Cetol. 6 months to a year later, decided that was too orange and sanded it back off, and then found some stain we thought matched the original transom color. Have I mentioned that you probably don't want to follow this channel for woodworking advice? Yeah, about that. So we're part way through staining this transom board behind me here. Kind of hit a stopping point, ran into some issues. First of all, even though I tack clothed it, I'm getting some, what at first I thought was dirt there. Now I believe that's air pockets. I may have made the mistake of shaking the can. I'm not a woodworker. I always forget to not do that and just stir it. I've started sanding it down here. That's not coming out. The bigger problem though is the color. This has 3 coats on it so far, and I think it's getting to the point where it's not going to change in tint. We're trying to match it to any of this wood in the boat here. You can see that does vary a bit. The wood in this is a little mismatched anyways. You can see, even with the coats that are on this, it's just not looking close. Between the imperfections on this thing and the color in the rest of the boat, I'm just not seeing it. I just don't think it's gonna work out very well. I don't know. It's kind of close, I guess. I can't say that I'm super thrilled with it. I don't know. That doesn't look terrible. Maybe I will go with it. Okay, so everyone likes time-lapsed woodworking shots. Great? Great. So while that's going on, let me further explain what went on here. You remember that stain that we matched to our sample piece? Well, that's not really stain. It's stain and polyurethane in one. We didn't even catch this until after it had been applied to the wood using an application sponge. Along with not thinning the product out, I'm guessing that's where the roughness came from. Zero idea how we both walked out of Menards with that in the cart. The fact alone that we were getting a glossy finish should have also cued to both of us that something was off here. Also color. The color advertised in the can, which Andrew had been so convinced matched our original Transom color, was actually shown over Polyshade's Classic Oak. Read the fine print. Yeah, not over pine or fir-based plywood. So, it came out nothing like we intended. But, since the boat's transom apparently was mismatched to the trim around it anyways, this pecan color somehow worked out. Now Brock wasn't quite sure how the marine spar varnish would react with a tinted polyurethane, but he decided to go ahead and slather it on anyways, because why not? Catastrophe? Let's find out. So, next step on this thing I guess is transom. Our favorite part. We're ready to put the transom in this boat.
Well, we've had it apart for about a year now. Just trying to get a new transom put together for a year. So,
we've had some other projects that came in the way, in all fairness. Yeah, so we have something we're happy with. We got our boards refinished finally. We've got all the junk out of the back of the boat.
I mean, I'm not super happy with it, but it's fine.
So we ended up, we did C-Tall. We didn't like the way it looked.
Yeah, that's C-Tall.
There's the C-Tall. And we mistakenly bought a poly and stain all-in-one. Had to redo that. We ended up going with it. So essentially it's got some polyurethane with stain tint added and a couple coats of marine spar varnish on top.
So
turned out pretty good.
It takes a while to get this stuff to match up.
I kind of wish there was like a mail-in service that you could just have a board, like just mail them the board and say, stain this and paint it for me and send it back. That'd be really nice.
That would be nice.
I wonder if such thing exists, because I honestly hate doing this.
It shouldn't be as hard as it is. So anyway, we got two boards. We're sandwiching two boards together, gonna slide them in here.
Yeah.
Another problem you run into after taking something apart for a year, so we took all this apart a year ago, and do yourself a favor, guys. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know, I don't know what you do. I've seen people shove the screws in like a piece of cardboard and like label them as you're doing it. Do a better job than we did. You'll thank yourself.
We're gonna be at this all day, literally trying to remember which screws went where, and we probably won't get all of them.
Yeah.
So
we'll have some extra pieces.
Yeah.
When we're done, I'm sure. See how far we get. See if we don't throw this thing in the river after trying to get this transom in.
Yeah. All right, this is close enough, I guess. That's close enough, I suppose.
We're ready to drill through it?
Yep, if you want. Is that any better at all? A little closer.
Maybe. Sure, Brock. That's better.
We're ready to put it on. We're already at a half an hour of filming time, and we haven't had any screw in this thing.
Through a hole?
God, what are these? These go on the inside? It's like it's labeled up. I don't even know what these are or what they do. These brackets.
Did we film us taking this apart?
No, we didn't film. I don't know. Some of it we did. So where's the grab handles? Are they in here? So we got, this is what we should have done to begin with, because then we would know where the stuff goes, right?
Well,
that looks like what you want, right? That bent thing.
What we should have done is organize these when we put them away, and at least film taking it apart.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, we should have labeled them as they came off. And then one little washer. So yeah, really tempting to just throw all this stuff in a bin when you're pissed off and in a hurry, but you know, this makes a little more sense. If only we knew where they went, like, you know, labeled them, put them in bags even, that would have been nice. Do we even remember how those go?
No, we clearly don't remember.
We still want to keep recording this for 40 minutes.
Oh God.
So, all right, so what's our thought? Want to drill a hole here? You can film.
Yeah, so we gotta drill our through holes.
Yeah.
Here and other places.
You gotta be careful.
The concern is that you drill through here, you know, and it blows out and splinters.
Splinters our wood.
The transom that we work so hard on. So we're gonna try a couple different methods. You know, one method you could take the smallest pilot, you know,
16th inch. Is that what you want?
you got. The other method we were thinking is just sandwich it between something else and just go full bore.
I'm sure we could look a YouTube video up on how to like not splinter wood, but you know.
Well, that's no fun.
A lot of things.
We are the YouTube video.
Yeah.
This is one-stop shop. Try.
Yes.
We'll just go to the next size up.
That's gonna take a lot of time, man.
Well, skip one size then and go to the next size. Seems fine. We'll just continue to do that.
All right, go one more.
Yeah, that's working.
Yeah, let's see how this one does, huh? It's like,
I mean, it's not like they're structural. A little bit of a chip. But
did it?
We can live with
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm okay with that. That's just a little.
we can live with it.
No, I can live with it. What I didn't want was to push a section out like an inch long. That's what happens. It pushes the whole layer.
Well,
So
let's bang the rest out then. You have a driver bit out?
like a screwdriver bit?
Yeah.
What are you using that for?
Do you have one, Brock?
Well,
I don't need an interrogation every time I ask for where something is. God, dude, none of these are going through.
Huh? What one?
I said none of them.
That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
Well, they're all cut off, so we might as well just get new ones because they're all cut off. Every one of them have been cut off with a hacksaw or a cutting wheel. They tightened them up and then trimmed them up like right, you know, flush to the nut. So we get to get new ones.
Well, they probably had a bunch of really long ones sitting around.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting around in their junk drawer.
So I guess we get to go to the
like
hardware store.
4-inch ones, and then
Yeah.
to make it look cleaner.
Yeah, car guys.
Car guys, that's some car guy shit.
Yep. So, well, are these ones not long enough either? Any of them?
I couldn't get any.
Well, never mind.
Are these
They're
lopped off too?
every one of them's lopped off. Every one of them is lopped off. Every one.
Car guys.
So they basically lopped them off as soon as the board was pulled tight. They lopped them off flush with the nuts. So that's what we're getting.
Gotta love car
So
guys.
I guess we get to make a trip to the hardware store now.
All right, we're not getting this done today.
Nope. So we weren't really sure what make this transom plate is. Basically just one from Brock's stash that fit the clamp width of our motor. And we were all in agreement that it looked better than the aluminum flat plate used by the previous builder. After criticizing car guys for using what they have laying around, Retrograde's installers used 2.5-inch screws that the hardware stores had laying around. Yeah, reviewing this footage, Retrograde's video editor thinks this looks like crap and is ordering some 2.25-inch bolts from McMaster Car. Does that one look good? Look at all that oil and gas mix we're drinking out of that.
This is gonna suck. Ooh, buddy. This is gonna suck.
All right, which way are we tipping it? I don't think we did that the first time.
You can't tip it on these casters.
Yeah, you can.
No, you fucking can't. That's how you snap those off.
Well,
And that's how the thing goes flying. Like,
that's what we did.
no.
Because the transom clamp was up in the air and it was on its ass. Want me to go a bit? Oh, okay. Don't go that hard.
There comes all the stuff.
All right.
God, I mean, you gotta lift some more.
Oh, there we go. I slipped on the oil. Maybe we'll get some comments on how dumb we are, you know, on how to properly load a motor.
I mean,
something, right? Don't do this at home. You're supposed to use that guy. It's like nice handle here. You're supposed to use that. But, you know, that would require us to have an engine hoist or borrow an engine hoist or prepare for any of this at all, so.
And all our storage space is filled up with boats. This is gonna suck.
I'm like worried about this. I have severe concern.
I feel like we should be worried. I think there'd be something wrong if we weren't worried. Let's see what happens. Ooh. All right.
There we go. Go more.
Yeah. I got like an inch.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, let it down more.
Yeah. So, that's not what you want.
No.
Well, we have to make a transom board for this.
This whole thing's just f***ed, man. I mean, when you... Why was this not a problem before? Because it was sitting higher?
This was a shitty little motor. It was a lot more narrow.
And it was higher, so the wider part of the clamp would have been up top.
Again, this is why you don't build a transom to fit whatever shitty motor you have laying around.
Yeah.
You put on the proper motor and drill all your holes and fit the right motor.
Yeah, because the thing is, we don't even know what's original at this point. We have no board, you know, we don't even know what's original.
We don't really care what's original. I mean,
There are a ton of screw holes behind that we never filled in. We never even put the screws in it, did we?
well, I wasn't gonna mention it to you. It's more work.
Well, yeah, you need to, because it's below the water line. I mean, it's,
I don't
maybe you got like an
I
inch
don't
or,
think they're below the water. Well, it's what your
and I guess you just put a rivet in them or something.
it's what your bilge pump's for. I mean, do we want to elucidate that in a shot instead of like mumbling to ourselves about it?
Yeah, but yeah, we get the motor up, and we were suspect that we're like, why does this not have a transom board in the back? And we mount it up and see, here's what we got. We've got some screw holes behind that we forgot to put screws in apparently, or fill.
Well, I didn't forget, you forgot. Because we're idiots and, you know, don't do things right the first time. And, you know, we're not real smart people. We're gonna have to make a transom board for this.
Well, so why wasn't there one on there before? Why don't we cover, there wasn't one on there before because...
Well, because that transom height was 6 inches higher. The motor was sitting, you know, barely any of it was actually clamped onto the aluminum.
Yeah.
It was sitting high enough to where the majority of it was on that transom. So, you know, I guess they thought they could get away without a transom board, and they did.
When you look at earlier pictures, the motor would have, you know, the bottom of the transom clamp, and it was only a 35 horse. The bottom of the clamp was about right here.
We're trying to decide whether to go with a wood transom board or something
Polymer.
Something a little easier would be like a polymer, like plastic. And you know, we can get that, you know, template together, mount it up, and run it for a while. And if we decide that we don't like the, you know, the aesthetic of it, we can always use that as a template for a wood piece too, right?
I guess the plan is what though? Maybe we'll leave the motor on now. That way we can mock up controls. I really don't want to pull this thing off.
I don't want to pull it off. I think as is, we can get steering and controls mounted, you know, mocked up, you know, the way it all sits now. Maybe even get the gas tanks and the battery box, all that stuff kind of like lined out and figure out where we're going to put that stuff. And I'm going to go back to Florida.
Yeah.
And Brock's going to stay here and make a transom board.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun.
For a minute there, I was so dejected about, you know, us having to make that transom board that I didn't take a minute and just look and appreciate this motor. I mean, what a difference a period correct motor makes on a boat like this. You can't tell me that this is not the way to go. I know a lot of guys out there are like putting modern motors on these things and painting the hoods to look retro styling, but to me, you just can't you can't replace the original. I mean, I think it looks great. I think the profile looks great. I think the lines look great. I think we were worried that this motor might be too big for this boat or just kind of look disproportionate, but I think it looks great. It looks mean from the back. Step back and look at that. I mean, that's just cool looking.
You know, I know we had discussed paint matching a Mercury engine to match this color, but I really feel that the gold and the white and the chrome are a better fit for this boat than a color matched motor. Personal preference, I guess. But it's crazy how much the styling varied between this and between the Starflight. You know, this still has that very like mid to late 50s look to it, and it matches the fins and everything perfect. I don't know why, this kind of reminds me of like a 1950s appliance or something on the front of this. It definitely has that 50s feel, that 50s look to it. So, you know, you look where the prop is, everything here looks good in terms of where it should be. I don't feel like the motor's hanging too far down. Obviously the boat itself looks a little more restored than the motor does. I don't think this patina is such a mismatch that it clashes with the boat. And I think we can do some things to maybe touch up or clean a couple areas on this thing up to match better. I think the big eyesore is gonna be this lower unit right here. And we'll probably have to remove that, wanna do a water pump replacement anyway. We've got another Super Seahorse that has, I think, a cleaner exhaust plate and a cleaner lower unit, and it might make sense to just go ahead and swap that out. I think that'll look fine. If we don't, we're gonna probably have to paint this or do something there, clean up the prop, clean this up. Yeah. And you know I'm a sucker for original paint. I mean, original paint on these motors is so cool. Because honestly, man, you don't see many of them around with original paint. Original paint on these impresses me more than seeing resto ones. And that's, I think, primarily just because a lot of the restored motors aren't restored that nice. You know, you see a lot of them, they're kind of like,
they're
garage jobs.
Yeah.
I think we've had very few that have impressed us. The one at Penn, you know, we've seen the Super Seahorse that looked this color that impressed us, but it's hard to find restored painted outboards that look good and that you don't see tape lines and everything on. So, you know, this thing just looks good. It's a cool original patina motor and it fits this boat well.
Yeah, you said that already.
I'm happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah, we could have summed that up a little quicker, huh?
Sure.
Sure you don't want to talk about the patina or the colors or how much you like this motor
I think
anymore?
we covered that.
Yeah, I think you did 3 times.
Yep. Okay.
All right.